Hey, Bill, great to have you here. Really excited about this one. Welcome to this call and welcome everyone watching. How are you today, Bill?
I'm doing great, Matteo. I'm doing great, and I appreciate the time to hop on here. Definitely explain what we've done up to this point. For sure, I'm excited.
Bill, what's your role?
I'm a recruiter, but I'm specifically in civil, structural, and geotechnical engineering. So I'm a partner in the firm, really an independent operator with the civil recruiter, and we're doing recruitment all over the country in the U.S.
Can you briefly tell us about your company and what your company does?
We've really narrowed down the focus, and I would say we're probably one of the best known recruiters in that structural and geotechnical space. So this is really really what sets us apart is that we try to be the best at finding that talent and that talent alone. So that's really what we do on a day-to-day basis. So.
What challenges or problems were you facing before we started working together?
So this is pretty typical across all recruiting, and I'd say most outbound, because I've been a part of a lot of outbound teams just in general, is there's the things you have to do, and that's the day to day, getting the job done, doing the outbound for candidates, trying to fill roles. But the challenge and the opportunity that I saw was that we have a lot of very talented engineers that come to us looking for a new firm, but we didn't have a company in place at that time with a contract. And I just didn't, just being a solo operator, we have some dialers that do work with us, but as a solo operator, I didn't have the time in the day. These are very valuable placements, but I didn't have the time in the day to do the outbound that needed to be done to find them a good role. And that's really the constraint. We were getting so busy that just didn't have time to do some very valuable work. And I would say the other thing that a lot of people that I was sure, just because I got connected with you guys from a personal reference, but you don't realize how much these lingering activities and that little bit of work, it's a cognitive load. It's just hard mentally to take yourself from doing one operation and pivot completely and not only do the other operation, but keep track of it. That was what I was running into, is like, I wish I just had 10 more hours a day. And we're getting to the spot where it's like, hey, we don't even need that anymore.
How was these challenges that you were underlying impacting your business at the time?
It's lost opportunity is really the biggest thing, is that what we just had to deal with was you only have so much time in a day. So you have to fill the roles that for your best clients. I have to stay on those jobs until I fill that role. And what was happening was you had these guys that were sitting there, but nobody's going to wait forever for me to catch up to go to work. And that's what I was seeing that I was running into a lot, is by the time I got back to an engineer that I wanted to help that was in an area I didn't have a client, I would see their LinkedIn and they had already accepted another role. So it's like I saw that 2 or 3 times, and it's like that by itself, could be $45,000 to $75,000 just in the 3 people I saw, not counting the 20 or 30 that we're working right now. So I have a good business friend, business associate that we've never met in person, but Alex with the Reverse Recruiter. And I was talking to him. I initially connected with him to see if he would have the bandwidth to just help me. And I offered to just split all the commissions down the middle. Even if it needed to be heavier in his way, it's like, you have a system that's working. And he thought about it it was probably about a week. And it's a little bit different than what he does specific, because he gets paid from the client to go make these placements. And I understand how his process works. So I wasn't going to pay Alex for each of these engineers that I really don't know at the end of the day. So he thought about it for about a week, thought about just doing it himself, and then said, you know what? I honestly just want to connect you with Matteo and the team, and you need to just set this up yourself.
Why did you want to work with us?
Number one, I'm missing out on revenue, which is like, okay, that's, as a business, it's like, hey, we're missing out on revenue. A possibility to capture that revenue is great. But the other thing was, our whole mission is to help structural and geotechnical engineers find a better role when they want one. And we are just running into a dead end where I didn't have capacity to help them find a new role. And it was starting to get disappointing where it's like, hey, these guys, they want a job and I can't be the one to help them find a new job.
But what were the doubts that you have?
The biggest, what you're weighing out is cost versus result. And I mean, that's the biggest thing. And what's interesting, and I just know this personally, is that you start to weigh out the cost of, well, I could just do this by myself. It's obviously something I could do by myself. And that's the kind of the hardest thing to get over for me is like, well, I could just do this by myself. And it's like, yeah, but I've been trying to do this by myself and it's not working. So you just have to come to terms with, hey, what I want to do, it's not working. And what I'm trying to do, I know that this will work because it works when I do it manually. I just need a piece of this that speeds the process up, that gets these things done quicker. So I'd say the biggest thing for me outside of just the financial side of investing in anything is just that coming to grips with, I can't do everything by myself. And it's just not going to happen. It was Alex and talking it through with him, and then just him telling me how many placements, because his system is a lot different than mine when you break it all the way down. But how many placements he was getting, and I was asking, well, how are you doing it? And he's like, it's Mateo's system. He's like, it's everything we did from the start, that it's built in this process where there are things that we want to keep personal. There's things that we want to do face-to-face, one-on-one, but there's certain busy tasks. It's like, why am I doing this? And once he said he saw results from it, and then you weigh out like the cost versus reward, it was like, hey, this is really a no-brainer. Like if you guys could help me get one placement, one contract, it pays for itself. So why am I even second guessing this?
What it has been like working with us so far?
The reality was I had somebody telling me that they could build this. That was going to be the third or fourth thing on their kind of priority list. And I know him. It was like, we're never going to get this built. So I was like, well, man, that would save me a lot of money though. We could go this direction. But then it was like, once I pulled the trigger and then we went through the initial onboarding, and then how detailed you were in putting everything into a visual format that I could see how the process was going to work. That just took the stress off of what is going to happen. What am I actually getting out of this? What are the results going to be? Where I actually took that after we had went through that onboarding, and I went back to my brother and said, hey, if you want to sell development to other people, you got to do it like this, where I would know what you're actually doing, because he could talk the talk and be like, oh, I'll help you out, and AI and da-da-da and all this stuff. And it's like, man, it sounds wonderful. It sounds like magic. But it's like, but until you have somebody walk through step by step. And then the other piece that I really appreciated was it was getting done. So like every step that we said, we're committing to this timeline, the timeline was getting done. And we initially started that outbound, I thought it was very quick. It was like from concept to outbound in just a few weeks. I want to say maybe we did it in a week. That we had it that next Tuesday, we were starting outbound and had everything connected and going. It was like, oh, this was a very, very good decision. You guys have followed up on every single thing that I've asked for. So I couldn't, it's been great.
What was one thing that surprised you? What was one thing that you least expected from all of this?
I think initially, like really the big thing, and even though I was being told that it would work from Alex and having the personal testimony, is just seeing it work and how well it worked. Because there were parts of it where it's like, I don't want to automate things. If I could make it all one-on-one outbound, because I know it works. I know when I'm talking to somebody, it works. So I think that was probably the most surprising, which shouldn't have been, is that it just works. And it's like, yes, it might not be everything for everybody, but the people who didn't want to see an email, they're done. And we're not blanketing them with emails. We're not doing anything that's other than it's like, hey, I just want to know, are you interested? And how many responses we were getting back in that, I think, was the most surprising thing. Because I will say, every single person that has said they're interested that I've been able to get on the phone with, we have got a contract from. I wish I could talk to everybody on a giant conference call and just be like, look, here's who I am. Here's what I want to do. And I really want to help you. And I have all these things that I'm doing. I'd love to plug into your system, but that conversation takes time. You can't do that at scale outside of what I'm already trying to do. I'm sure there's other solutions, but but what we're doing right now is working. And it's like, the other part that's surprising is how much you can personalize Outbound to sound just like me. It's like the system's doing exactly what I would do if I was personally hand typing every letter of that email.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. The level of personalization and that's central, like then to get results. And yeah, like possibilities today are like so much that it's difficult. Sometimes people don't think about a solution that is not really the solution. And sometimes they just ask a little bit more about, okay, but what's the problem that you want to solve? And you find the real solution. So I know exactly what you mean. Let's go a little bit on the results, because like right now we work together for a little bit more than 2 months. So, it's not a long time. It's like really like a short timeline. But again, I've been really happy with the results so far and what has happened so far. So let's go a little bit more into that. Since we started working together, what change or progresses have you noticed so far?
So it's just a direct result. I have 5 signed contracts from firms. Two of them are very large. One is a regional, and another one that I actually just had a call today is a national firm that is looking for direct help that came specifically from our automation. The conversation started from outreach, where I had a solution for him, but he wanted to get on a call and wants me to help him all over the country. So I would say all together in the value of contracts in those 5, let's say the value of the contracts could be $250,000 and say over three years if you fill all these roles. But just say conservatively in 2 months to have $75,000 worth of contracts and two roles hopefully being filled, which would be, that could be anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000, somewhere in there. I mean, it's been excellent. And that's the other thing. It's kind of like AI in general, like as the whole. It's like what I know in this is like, this is the worst it's going to be. We can always come back to this after I run it for a little bit, and then we can come back and be like, hey, let's do this. Let's add this. Why can't we do something over here? And you guys did gladly take it on.
What would you say to someone who's on the fence about working with us?
We had a signed contract with that regional firm in the first 2 weeks. So, which then is expanded to, I have an engineer going in to fill one of their roles, but they've already given me 2 other roles and already have taken potentials in 2 other locations. So that was just my initial, like, hey, if it's even half of what Alex said, it's going to pay for itself. And that's the biggest thing. Is like, at the end of the day, if it's going to pay for itself, like, what am I even waiting for? Like, let me just get started. So that would be the biggest thing. You could build it yourself, but let's say it takes you 3 months to figure out half of the system. What did you lose in that 3 months? If I already got $250,000 in contracts in 2 months, and I would say there were parts of this where I was like, I'm so busy, I can't keep dumping people in, that if you can get that in 2 months, how much lost opportunity by trying to build it yourself are you missing out on? Let alone what if your luck was a little bit different than mine? Mine just rolled out where it's like the engineers that I was placing there weren't a perfect match, more from the engineer side than it was all from the engineer side, which is unusual. So it's just kind of luck of the draw on those first ones. But what if your luck was we ran the system, and there were 3 signed contracts and 3 placements, and you made, whatever your rate is, you made $60,000 in a month. You're going to be like, well, I would have been dumb to not do it. But, I know everybody's system's different and volume is different and all of that, but that's where Alex told me, and then I could tell somebody else, like, waiting is probably the most expensive thing.